Dreams, directed by Elijah Bynum, screenplay by Elijah Bynum, and producers Jeffery, Soros, Jennifer Fox. And this movie stars Jonathan Majors, who plays the character Killian Maddox, who a man who was looking after his ailing father, who is looking to make it in the world of a world of professional bodybuilding. And knowing that this movie was based on a real bodybuilder, and when I went to go see this movie just now, coming out of the theater, and yeah, man, this story was absolutely phenomenal. And if Jonathan Majors, man, he needs to get recognition for this performance. Definitely something that's gonna keep your eyes on. So the Jonathan Majors new movie, Magazine Dreams, finally out. Some viewers are asking if the actor's character is based on a real bodybuilder. Magazine Dreams is a huge critical hit when it first premiered in 2023, although it was pushed back after Walt Disney Studios decided not to release it due to the controversy surrounding Jonathan Majors. However, another distributor has picked up Magazine Dreams with the new Jonathan Majors film now available to watch. So yeah, after just leaving the theater and seeing this movie, we saw that he is trying to live out his dreams. In the beginning half, he works for this food grocery store, and he ends up trying to meet this girl called Jessie, and trying to hook up with her while still trying to buy so many groceries to try to keep his weight gain flowing, trying to keep his body nutrition motion going. And while he's doing these things, we saw in the film his body is starting to deteriorate because what's happening to him when he's taking these drugs. He has a hard life in the beginning of the movie too. Killian has a hard life in the beginning of the movie. His parents were tragically killed and murdered. He tells the story at the beginning, so he ends up having this hard upbringing, and his grandfather pretty much is ailing at the going through his own thing, and so now he wants to try to see if he can make it in the world of bodybuilding. Now he wants to try to make it into the industry, and so he goes and competes in this competition, and he idolizes Brad Vanderhorn, who is played by O Hearn. He idolizes him for a lot in the movie, and once he goes and competes on this big stage, he ends up taking steroids, and like a week and a half or so before the competition had began, and once he starts to take that, he ends up crashing out and ends up tragically crashing out and falling out on the stage. And so he had to get repaired and recovered by the paramedics. And so once the paramedics and everything came out and realized that he had so much vital in the system of the drugs and steroids, and to keep himself up, he ends up having the doctors had prescribed and the nurse had prescribed him to have surgery to remove a tumor that was inside, and he said no, he didn't want to do that. So once he finally did not decide to do it, continue on his path to try to become as good as he was. He also ends up getting told that he ends up his muscles are not up to par. Like his deltoids are too small. All these different things that he was told by these judges while in the midst of the competition. And one of the judges, he ends up seeing later on in the movie, kind of was very, very critical and harsh of him. I ain't gonna say kind of. He was very critical and very harsh of him once the movie and the tale begins. So also, it tells a story not only what I was just saying before, Killian Maddox, the bodybuilder. Maddox dreams of being a world famous bodybuilder like many of his idols, although he was struck with a menial grocery store job. Maddox deals with anger issues and taking care of his elderly grandfather as he attempts to move out the world of bodybuilding. Although things may never go as he planned, Magazine Dreams is a great story, but some of it are wondering if it was a true one. No, and also I think the director Elijah Bynum also has said, and I think a couple of producers said that this is more of a fictional tale, but the story of um, Killian Maddox and everything was based upon an actual loosely based story about him being a real bodybuilder. So um, also, what I'm reading now is Killian Maddox. He's loosely inspired by a real bodybuilder as the director that saw him in the gym. So the story of Magazine Dreams is entirely fictional. The character Killian Maddox loosely is inspired by a real bodybuilder. Magazine Dreams, however, director Elijah Bynum discussed the inspirations for the film in an interview with IndieWire, him stating that he decided to write the film and an experience in the gym. Bynum stated that he saw an incredibly dedicated bodybuilder working out of him that he saw an incredibly dedicated bodybuilder working out. With him being interested in the gym, he responded to him. However, here we are the wider and the director's full comment. He seemed to be in quite of a bit of pain, like physical pain, spiritual pain, and emotional pain, and but there was something that kept him going going there every day. He was clearly very ambitious about what he was doing, and clearly was very driven about what he was doing. And the most interesting was how the rest of us in the gym were responding to him. Because he was an intimidating figure, no one wanted to be caught looking at him. And so we all sort of looked at the other way and presented that he wasn't there. And I thought there was something that very interesting about a character or individual human who moves through the world that both fear and ignore at the same time. So yeah, this movie was very, very inspiring. Uh, And I don't really think, to me, that there is no kind of, I don't really think there's no performance that's going to probably outdo what Jonathan Majors did in this film. Um, because although it was loosely based, a story based on a real bodybuilder, I just think that his performance really set it forth. And I'm gonna do something a little bit different too. I'm gonna give my pros and my cons. Two biggest pros in the movie not only is Jonathan Majors' performance, I really do like the direction in the film. I do think the direction in the film was very, very key, and I think also it showed you so much at the beginning of showing where Killian Maddox's character was going from in the beginning, where his character, was having a harsh and a hard upbringing, but then also showcase of where he was going forth, and how his character kind of was evolving and trying to become one of the best bodybuilders. But then there was also, a point of devolve when he got rejected, and you know he kind of like, at some point, the competition, just to him just wasn't didn't go some kind of way, didn't go his way, and the judges were very harsh on him, and you kind of saw his character change. Like, he all of a sudden was just buying guns. He all of a sudden was just constantly overeating, like, and taking drugs. Like, his character kind of was like on a different path. Like, he was dissolved and then he evolved and then he kind of devolved down, and it just didn't work out for him like the way he wanted to. And to me, I just feel like it didn't overall come off. Um, it did come off in a way where it was very genuine. It was very straightforward and to the point. The cons for the movie, I will say, and the biggest one is, I do think the runtime is kind of like the biggest con for me. I do think the runtime for the movie is a little bit too long, and I feel like the runtime just did not kind of overstayed its welcome a bit. Another con I will say is Taylour Paige character who plays the pink coat. I really don't think that this movie really did much for her. Um, uh, it just didn't really have. She didn't really have much of a role in it. Like, she was just only there for like maybe about 3 minutes or so, and she didn't really do much. So that would be another con. I think certain characters through the movie didn't show like a little bit forthcoming, but at the same time, um, the movie, like I said, centers around Killian Maddox, and it really does evolve well. So despite some of the little bit of the cons and the negatives with it, I do recommend this movie. I do recommend for you guys to check it out, um, and tell me what you guys think about it. Cause man, I really enjoy myself watching this. And in my opinion, I definitely do. I definitely do think that you will like this film. If you are a fan of sports, of professional bodybuilding, of anything of that nature, I would definitely say check this one out. You will definitely you'll definitely it's definitely worth your money. It's definitely worth your time to go see it in the theaters. Um, in your nearest local theaters or the one that's close to you, man, check this one out because you definitely are gonna have an enjoyable time. If anybody wants to come in and oh, chat, I see somebody else said something. All right, yeah. So definitely let me guys let definitely tell me what you guys think about the movie when you go see it. Um, I really, really appreciate everybody that came in and saw the review and saw what I thought about it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. And I am out. Oh, and my rating for the movie, if I didn't hadn't said it, I'm gonna give this movie a 3.5 out of 4 stars. So yeah, that's all I got to say. Um, thank you guys for watching.